Today we are going to look at sample sizes and how many people that we need in our sample to adjust our data. What we're going to do is we're going to look back at example 8.1, which we did earlier, where we had the fast food manager that surveyed their customers, each of whom rated their new sandwich on a scale of 1 to 10. So based on the data we already calculated, we had a 95% confidence interval for the mean of all potential customers. That went from 5.39 to 6.761. The distance between the minimum and the maximum is the confidence interval, and that distance is 1.022, which gives us a half length of 0.511. So if we want to reduce that confidence interval, if we want to make it smaller, we are going to have to add more people to the sample. How many are we going to need to do to reduce the half length to approximately 0.3? Okay, so let's get going. So our desired half-length sample is going to be 0.3. If we go back to the old original problem, 1.597 is the standard deviation of the sample. We have a confidence interval of 95%. Okay, so now we have to calculate out our z-value. So we're going to assume some normally distributed items. So we're going to be the normal distribution dot s of the sample, and we want the inverse because we are going to deal with the probability because we want a real number coming out of that. And so that's going to be 1 minus the confidence interval. So that is B12. Wait a second. Sorry, I was inputting that wrong. It's not 1 minus the confidence interval. So let's roll that back. So norm.s. Once again, have to hit tab if you want that to come out. And so our probability is going to be, we've got 1 minus, so we got our confidence interval. I just can't click in the right spot today. We have our confidence interval plus we have our confidence level plus 1 minus our confidence level, and we want to get those in parentheses and divide that by 2. And so that should be our equation. Yes, it is. That's all fine and dandy. We get a 1.96 for our z-value. So now we've got our required sample size. And so that is going to be our z-value multiplied by our standard deviation. The actual number, not the words, because that's not going to work. We're going to divide that by our desired half length. And so I'm going to take all of this and square it. Just like the equation we talked about, raised it to the square, and so I get 1.8 with some remainder. Well, you can't have a remainder of a person, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back in here, we're going to round this up, and to 0 decimal places because we want a whole number. So 109. So to get a more accurate confidence interval, the more accurate confidence interval will have a shorter half length, which is, in this case, we want to go from 0.5 to 0.3. We're going to need to sample at least 109 customers. So even more customers would give us even a shorter half length, make the data even more accurate, but of course it's going to cost more money to do this. So every time that we add people to a survey, it's going to cost more. Okay, this is a nice and short and sweet one. If there's any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you next time.